What if everything you're searching for is already happening? You feel like your current life isn't all it could be. Maybe you're tuned into the wrong reality. Parallel reality. What if your ideal life is already happening? This video isn't about the future, it's about right now. What if there's a version of you more prosperous, more aligned, happier, living at this very moment, and all that's missing is just a small adjustment? Don't ignore this calling. Parallel reality. What if your ideal life is already happening? You're about to see the invisible. What if everything you've been searching for, peace, freedom, prosperity, and abundance, already exists, but not in the future? What if the ideal life you dream of is already happening on another frequency, just waiting for you to tune into it? The truth is, you've been conditioned to believe that reality is just one thing, that you have to struggle, suffer, wait years, and maybe never make it. But that's not real. It's just the programming of a system that never taught you to look within. Because if you knew the power you have to co-create, you'd choose right now to manifest a new version of your life. And what's most surprising is that you've already felt this calling, that weird intuition that something more is happening, that feeling of being out of place, like your soul is in one world and your body in another. That's not crazy. It's a reminder, a whisper from the universe saying, hey, your ideal reality is already active. You just need to get there. In this video, you'll understand why this happens, how to access this parallel reality, and what to do, practically speaking, to manifest a new life right now, without waiting years, without depending on luck, and without repeating old patterns. And the best part, you'll realize you don't need to change the world out there. You just need to change the frequency you're emitting in here. Sometimes, in the silence of an ordinary night, or in the middle of a noisy crowd, something inside you whispers, there's more. It's not just imagination. It's an invisible calling and coming from a field of vibrational energy that's trying to remind you who you really are. That restlessness, that emptiness that no achievement fills. It's your spirit asking you to raise your frequency. It's the universe nudging you, saying, hey, you weren't born to survive. You were born to manifest the life you came here to live, right now. And no matter how normal everything around you seems, deep down, you feel it. Something's off. Like you're living with the parking brake on, watching your own life in black and white, while out there, the world vibrates in colors you haven't accessed yet. That's where spirituality comes in, not as religion, but as reconnection with what vibrates beyond the five senses. The prosperity and abundance you seek aren't just in goals, but in an internal shift that starts with a question. What if I'm off my vibrational path? Anyone who stopped for 5 minutes and just breathed deeply with intention knows how the body responds. A morning sunbath, a book like The Power of Now in your hands, a gratitude journal before bed. Simple things that shift your vibration and align you with the reality you want to live. Want a challenge? Disconnect from the digital chaos for a day and notice how you feel. Raise your frequency and you'll start to see that internal calling has direction. This feeling of there's something more isn't coincidence, it's evidence. A parallel reality is already in motion and you feel it because, on some level, you're already connected to it, like a version of you, more aligned, more alive, more prosperous, is calling you from over there. But why doesn't anyone talk about this? And why does it seem like the whole world is too distracted to notice? For a long time, we were taught to believe there's only one reality, unchangeable and solid, as if what we see is all there is. But both science and spirituality have been saying the opposite. Quantum physics has already proven that reality changes according to the observer. In other words, your presence, your intention, and even your emotional state interfere with the outcome. This isn't mysticism, it's fact. Life responds to your vibrational energy, and the more you raise your frequency, the more you realize that reality isn't a concrete block. It's a field of possibilities, and that's where spirituality comes in, with a serene smile. It tells you that the visible world is just the tip of the iceberg, and that what really shapes your life is on an invisible plane, energetic. The law of attraction, so talked about out there, is just the surface of a much deeper truth. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you vibrate. If you're surrounded by scarcity, chaos, or repetition, maybe it's not bad luck. Maybe it's just a sign that you're still tuned to the wrong station. Imagine your brain as an antenna. Which frequency are you tuning into? Fear or faith? Doubt or clarity? If you want to hear classical music, there's no point leaving it on the news channel. The same goes for reality. If you desire prosperity and abundance, you need to tune into the frequency of these experiences. This is done with small daily actions, practicing gratitude, visualizing what you want before sleeping, listening to reprogramming audios like those from Joe Dispenza or Neville Goddard. They're tools to start perceiving the invisible, acting on the visible. When this perception begins to open, you can't see life the same way anymore. Coincidences intensify, signs become clear, and everything that was chance starts to seem coordinated. Because, actually, it always was. What if your ideal self isn't in the future, but vibrating in parallel, waiting for you to access it? There's a subtle line, almost invisible, that separates the life you live today from the one you dream of living. It's not money, it's not circumstances, it's frequency. Your ideal version, the one that wakes up with clarity, acts with courage, and overflows with prosperity and abundance, already exists somewhere in the quantum field. It vibrates on another frequency, and it's accessible as soon as you decide to consistently manifest this identity now. The secret isn't to try harder, it's to align more. A lot of people think they need to achieve in order to be, but actually, you need to be in order to achieve. Be grateful. Before having, be confident. Before winning, be abundant. Before seeing money in the account. This is the vibrational energy that builds bridges between you and your higher self. Imagine how this version of you acts. Does it complain or bless? Does it procrastinate or decide? When you behave as if you already were this person, the universe responds as if you already were. Start small. Replace "I can't" with "how can I?" Replace comparisons with contemplations. Replace discouragement as with self-care rituals. Reading The Miracle Morning can transform your vibrational routine. Listening to affirmation audios during breakfast, writing goals on paper as if they were already real, walking in silence while giving thanks in advance. These habits aren't silly, they're tuning devices. They're simple actions that raise your frequency and open portals to more aligned versions of yourself. And then, as you embody this energy with more intention, you start to feel something different. Life flows. What seemed difficult before unfolds. What was confusing gains clarity. And you realize that ideal version that seemed so distant maybe was just waiting for a sign from you to come closer. The truth is, the reality you desire isn't conquered, it's tuned into. Just like you turn a radio dial, until you find the right station. You need to adjust your vibrational energy to access experiences aligned with the life you want to manifest now. This requires more than positive thinking. It requires practice, presence, and purpose. Tuning in means taking on the role of creator, not victim, and that changes everything. To raise your frequency, start with awareness. Notice how you wake up. What do you consume in the first hours of the day? If your morning starts on autopilot and ends in endless scrolling, maybe it's time to trade that for something more aligned. A simple exercise. When you wake up, say out loud 3 things you want to feel today: love, clarity, courage. Then activate those emotions with music that lifts you, a guided meditation or a simple, sincere prayer. That's already an act of tuning. It's not about living in a rose-colored world, but about consciously choosing which frequency you want to emit, even when everything seems to be falling apart. Spirituality isn't escaping reality. It's the art of transforming reality from the inside out, practicing silence, keeping a vibrational journal, surrounding yourself with uplifting content, like videos, books, and even people, are ways to stay on track. Prosperity and abundance don't appear by chance. They're attracted by those who are vibrating on the same wavelength. Gradually, you start to notice the signs. Doors that open, right people who appear, ideas that seemed distant before take shape. This isn't magic, and it's tuning. And the most beautiful thing is, the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. The question is, how much longer will you wait to tune in to who you were born to be? At some point, you need to make a choice. Not that choice you make with your head, but the one that comes from the soul, silent, firm, and non-negotiable. It's the moment when you decide to stop repeating the past and start co-creating the future. You already understand that there are multiple realities vibrating around you now. The question is, which one will you choose to inhabit? The one of fear and stagnation, or the one of active spirituality, where prosperity and abundance are natural reflections of your alignment? This decision doesn't require everything to change outside. It requires something to change inside. And this starts with a commitment, staying conscious, even when life tries to pull you back to autopilot. Choosing a new reality, it is like choosing a new travel destination. At first, it's just a desire. But when you buy the ticket, pack your bags, and board, the universe understands you're going, and it conspires to take you even further. Only, in this case, the luggage is internal. Thoughts, emotions, habits. Everything needs to be coherent with where you're going. Want to live a different life? Then feed different beliefs, spend less energy, trying to control others, and more, raising your frequency. Reinforce your faith with actions. Read books that inspire you. You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, for example. Change your internal language and say yes to what you used to avoid out of fear. Small actions create a new field of vibrational energy around you, and soon, what seemed impossible starts to approach. And the most beautiful thing is realizing that this choice isn't unique. It's renewed every day, every morning. When you open your eyes, you can ask, which version of me will I feed today? Because deep down, every time you choose your frequency, you're choosing which reality you'll live. And maybe, just maybe, your most prosperous, free, and connected version is already closer than you imagine. Now that you understand that reality isn't fixed but vibrational, the question that remains is, will you keep repeating the old script, or will you start writing a new one now? The universe doesn't respond to what you say you want. It responds to what you vibrate. So, what have you been vibrating lately? Are you really aligned with the life you want to manifest, or are you still stuck with the version of yourself that settles for less than you deserve? You don't need to have everything figured out to start. Just make different choices, feed more conscious thoughts, and act like someone who's already ready. Remember, raising your frequency is the first step to accessing the reality where your dreams are already true, and that reality already exists. You just need to tune into it. If this video awakened something inside you, hit like, leave a comment with your take, and subscribe to the channel to keep diving into this kind of content. Hit the bell so you don't miss any insights, because here we talk about spirituality, vibrational energy, prosperity, and abundance in a practical, human, and powerful way. Oh, and before you go, there's another video waiting for you in the card and description with one more important key for your transformation. Go check it out now and continue this deep dive. See you there.